My son said it like it was nothing, like he was reading the weather. "Dad," Noah said, leaning in the doorway with his backpack still on, "Mrs. Keane asked me why you haven't paid the school fund all year." I blinked at him from the kitchen table, where I was sorting mail into neat piles the way I always had. Bills on the left, coupons on the right, anything official in the middle. "School fund?" I repeated. Noah shrugged. He was 14, all elbows and quiet judgment, the age where your parents exist mostly as background noise until they embarrass you in public. "Yeah," he said. "The family support fund, the one for field trips and stuff? She said everyone's parents pay it. She said maybe you forgot." I looked past him through the living room to the dining room where my wife had turned half the table into her planner station. Binders, color-coded pens, a little desk lamp that made it look like she was doing important work even when she was scrolling on her phone. Jenna was on that phone now, smiling softly, her thumb moving in quick little arcs. And for a split second, a cold thought drifted through my mind. If Mrs. Keane thinks I didn't pay, then someone told her I was supposed to. Someone told her there was an account. Someone told her I was the kind of dad who forgets things. Noah shifted his weight. "Are we, like, broke?" he asked, trying to sound casual, failing. "We're not broke," I said automatically, but my voice had that tiny hitch I didn't like. "Because I handle money in our house. I always have. I'm Ethan Ross, 59, Nashville-born, Nashville stuck. I spent 35 years in logistics and procurement. If you've ever wondered why your package shows up 2 days after you click buy, it's because people like me built systems that never sleep. Systems don't care about excuses. They care about receipts. And right then, I had none." "What did she say exactly?" I asked Noah. Noah dug into his backpack and pulled out a wrinkled paper. "It's this," he said, holding it out. The paper had the school letterhead at the top, Ridgewood Academy. Below it, a friendly tone that made my stomach tighten. "Reminder, your family support fund contribution for the 2025-2026 school year is past due. Please submit payment via the Ridgewood Family Fund portal or the QR code below." At the bottom was a QR code and a tiny URL, and, printed next to it, in bold, "Balance due, $1,200. I stared at that number. We paid tuition on time every month. We paid fees. We paid for uniforms, sports, bus passes, the ridiculous technology fee that seemed to exist solely to punish parents for owning children. I would have noticed a missing $1,200. Unless it never went through me. Noah watched my face carefully. "Mom said she handles school stuff," he said. "So, maybe she paid it?" There it was, the first crack. Jenna did handle school stuff, forms, permission slips, teacher emails. She was the friendly parent, the one who brought cupcakes and knew which teachers loved Starbucks gift cards and which ones hated being asked. I was the structured parent, the one who signed checks and asked, "Do we need this?" until everyone rolled their eyes. Our marriage had survived that division for 17 years, until a 14-year-old sentence turned it upside down. "Go do homework," I told Noah gently. "I'll figure it out." He hesitated, then nodded and disappeared upstairs. I waited until his footsteps faded, then I walked into the dining room. Jenna looked up, smile bright. "Hey," she said, "how was your day?" I placed the paper on the table in front of her. Her smile stayed in place, like it had been stapled on. "What's that?" she asked. "It's a past due notice," I said, "from Ridgewood. Mrs. Keane told Noah I haven't paid the family support fund all year." Jenna's eyes flicked to the number, then back up to me. "Oh," she said lightly. "That's weird. I thought I took care of it." "I thought you handled school emails," I said. "Not payments." Jenna laughed like I was being dramatic. "Ethan, it's a school thing. I paid it through the portal. It's fine. I watched her face. The way she blinked a little too quickly. The way her fingers tapped her phone screen once, twice, like she was rehearsing. Show me the portal, I said. Her laugh faltered. Why? Because if the school says we owe $1,200, it's not fine, I said. And because I don't like surprises. Jenna's eyes narrowed. You're doing that thing. What thing? The interrogation, she said. You always assume I messed up. I'm not assuming, I said. I'm reading. She leaned back, crossed her arms. I'll email them tomorrow, she said. Probably a glitch. A glitch. Jenna's favorite word for anything that made her uncomfortable. In my world, glitches are investigated, not excused. Not tomorrow, I said. Now. Jenna stared at me for a long moment, then reached for her phone, tapping quickly. I don't remember the login, she said, eyes down. Of course. I scanned the QR code on the paper with my own phone. It opened a page with Ridgewood branding. Almost. The colors were slightly off. The font was close, but not quite. The footer had typos, the kind your eye catches only when your stomach is already suspicious. And the URL, when I looked closely, wasn't ridgewoodacademy.edu. It was ridgewood-familyfund.com. My skin went cold. Jenna, I said quietly. This isn't the school's site. She stiffened. What? I held the phone up. Look at the URL. Jenna glanced and shrugged too quickly. Maybe that's the portal they use. Schools outsource things. I didn't argue. I didn't need to. I opened our joint bank account and searched transactions for Ridgewood. Tuition, fees, uniform supplier, no family fund. I searched for family fund, and there it was. Ridgewood Family Fund, $200. Ridgewood Family Fund, $200. Ridgewood Family Fund, $200. 6 payments over 6 months. Each one $200. Each one going to a merchant I didn't recognize until I clicked details. Merchant category, person-to-person transfer. Recipient, J Fund Admin. Not the school, not a vendor, a person. I looked up slowly. Jenna's face had gone pale. You said you paid it, I said. I did, she whispered. No, I said. You sent money to J Fund Admin. Who is that? Jenna swallowed. It's the PTA, she said quickly. They set it up. The PTA doesn't show up as a person-to-person transfer, I said. It shows up as the PTA. Jenna's eyes flashed with anger, a defensive flare. You don't know how the PTA does things. Then educate me, I said. Show me the email thread. Show me the official link. Jenna's jaw trembled. Ethan, open your email, I said. She slammed her phone down. No. And right there, with a bake sale flyer and a fake portal on my screen, I understood the truth. If my wife refused to show me the details, it wasn't a glitch. It was a choice. I opened my laptop and pulled up Ridgewood Academy's official website. Then I called the number listed. A receptionist answered with the bright voice of someone who spends her life navigating panicked parents. Ridgewood Academy, how may I help you? My name is Ethan Ross, I said. My son brought home a past due notice for the Family Support Fund. I'd like to confirm our payment status. One moment, she said, keyboard clicking. Student name? Noah Ross. Another pause. Mr. Ross, she said, tone shifting to polite caution. According to our records, your Family Support Fund contribution is unpaid for this year. My throat tightened. So the payments I see in my bank to Ridgewood Family Fund aren't you? Silence. Then, we don't have a separate portal with that name, she said carefully.
Our payments go through the Ridgewood parent portal. The URL ends in .edu.
I closed my eyes. Thank you, I said, and hung up. Jenna stood across the kitchen, arms crossed, chin lifted like she was waiting for me to accuse her so she could accuse me back. I looked at her and said quietly, "The school says we haven't paid. The portal is fake. The money didn't go to them." Jenna's face crumpled, just for a second. Then she rebuilt it into anger. "So what?" she snapped. "It's still for the school. It's for the kids." "It didn't go to the school," I said. "It went to the fund," she insisted. "What fund?" Her eyes darted away. "The Mom's Fund," she said. "The Mom's Fund," I repeated. I felt something in my chest shift from confusion to clarity. "Jenna," I said slowly, "did you create that portal?" Her gaze snapped back to mine. "Don't be ridiculous." "Did you?" I asked. Jenna's mouth opened, then closed. That was the answer. I set my laptop down and spoke carefully, the way I spoke in conference rooms when vendors were caught falsifying invoices. "I'm going to ask you once," I said, "and then I'm going to protect our kids and our finances with or without your help." Jenna's hands shook. "Ethan, did you create it?" I asked. Tears filled her eyes, not the soft kind, the angry kind. "Yes," she whispered. The room went quiet. Somewhere upstairs, Noah's music thumped faintly through the floor. My wife blinked rapidly, tears spilling. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," she said. I stared at her. "Then what was it supposed to be?" I asked. Jenna sank into a kitchen chair, shoulders collapsing. "It started as a shortcut," she said. "The moms are always talking about who pays and who doesn't. They judge. They judge everything." "So you made a fake portal to look like we paid?" I asked. Jenna shook her head. "No, not just us. I made it for everyone." My stomach dropped. "Everyone?" Jenna wiped her face with the back of her hand. "I offered to help with the fund," she whispered. "I said I could manage payments for busy parents." I made it easy. QR code, website, automatic reminders. My mouth went dry. "You collected money," I said. Jenna nodded. "And where did it go?" I asked. Jenna's voice came out so small I almost didn't hear it. "Not all to the school," she whispered. I laughed once, sharp and humorless. "Jenna," I said, "none of it went to the school." She flinched. "Where did it go?" I asked again. Jenna squeezed her eyes shut. "I was going to fix it," she whispered. "I was going to pay them at the end. I just needed time." Time. The same word scammers use. "Show me everything," I said. Jenna shook her head, panicked. "Ethan, please." "Everything," I repeated. She hesitated, then opened an app, a business account dashboard. There were transactions, dozens, names of parents I knew from bleachers and school concerts. $50, $100, $200, some bigger, and then transfers out, to a sports betting app, to a credit card payment, to something labeled Cash ADV. My vision blurred at the edges. "You gambled it," I said. Jenna's face twisted. "I didn't mean to," she sobbed. "It was just, I was stressed. The bills were paid," I said. She shook her head violently. "Not all of them," she cried. "You don't know everything, Ethan." Another truth. I didn't. Because Jenna had been living a parallel financial life under the cover of cupcakes and school emails. I sat back down. Not because I was calm,
but because my legs suddenly didn't trust me. "How much?" I asked. Jenna's lips trembled. "I don't know." "You do," I said. She swallowed. "About 18,000, she whispered. $18,000. From parents who thought they were paying for field trips. From families who trusted Jenna because she smiled and volunteered and knew everyone's birthdays. I stared at my wife, and for the first time in 19 years, she looked like a stranger. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Hello, this is Melissa Keane. Noah gave me your number."
Please call me about the Family Support Fund, my son's teacher. The universe had a brutal sense of timing. I looked at Jenna. "Did you tell anyone?" I asked. Jenna shook her head. "No." "Then how did Mrs. Keane have my number?" Because Noah had been embarrassed, because he'd tried to fix it, because kids don't hide things the way adults do. I called. Mrs. Keane answered on the first ring. "Mr. Ross," she said kindly. "I didn't want to put Noah in the middle, but he seemed worried. He said you didn't know about the fund. Is everything okay?" I closed my eyes. Lie and buy time, or tell the truth and detonate my life. I thought about my son's face, that question, are we broke? He deserved reality, not performance. "Mrs. Keane," I said carefully, "thank you for reaching out. I'm looking into it now. There may be an issue with how payments were routed." Silence on her end, then, "Do you mean fraud?" My throat tightened. "I don't know yet," I said. It was the gentlest lie I could manage. "Please keep me updated," Mrs. Keane said. "The school has to handle this appropriately." "I understand," I said. I hung up and turned to Jenna. "We are not hiding this," I said. Jenna's eyes widened. "Ethan?" "We are not making Noah carry our mess," I said. "We tell the school, we tell the parents, and we fix what we can." Jenna shook her head wildly. "They'll destroy me," she whispered. "You destroyed yourself," I said. "They're just going to witness it." Jenna grabbed my arm. "Please," she begged. "Give me a week. I can borrow from my sister. I can—" "No," I said. The word felt like a door slamming. Jenna's tears evaporated into fury. "You think you're so perfect," she hissed. "You think you're better than me because you can't feel anything." "I feel plenty," I said. "I'm just not letting feelings rewrite facts." "You're going to ruin our family," she whispered. "You already did," I said. "I'm just refusing to pretend." That night, after the kids went to bed, I built a file. A folder on my laptop titled Ridgewood Fund. Inside, screenshots of transactions, the fake portal URL, the bank history, every message Jenna had sent in parent group chats with QR codes and reminders. Evidence. Not for revenge, for protection. I emailed the school administrator with a subject line that made my hands shake. Urgent. Possible fraudulent family fund portal. In the body, I kept it professional, almost clinical. If I wrote it like a husband, it would sound like drama. If I wrote it like a compliance report, it would sound like truth. I attached screenshots. I hit send. Then I sat in the dark living room with a glass of water I didn't drink. At 2:11 a.m., my laptop chimed with an email reply. "Mr. Ross, thank you for informing us. We are initiating an internal review and contacting our legal counsel. Please do not communicate with other parents until we advise next steps." My stomach dropped, because legal counsel isn't a bake sale word. At 6:07 a.m., Jenna came downstairs, eyes swollen, face tight. "You told them," she said flatly. "Yes," I said. "You didn't even ask me." "I asked you," I said. "You lied." She flinched. Then she smiled, a small, sharp smile. "You think this ends with me," she said quietly. "But you're on that account too." My blood went cold. "What?" "The J-Fund admin account," she said. It's connected to the joint bank. Your name is on it too. Disbelief tightened my chest. Why? I asked. Because I needed it to look legitimate, she said. A married couple. A family. Not just me. My throat went dry. This wasn't just Jenna stealing. This was Jenna making sure if she fell, I fell too. Jenna stepped closer, voice low. So think carefully, Ethan. If I go down, you go down. Do you really want Noah and Ava's dad arrested? Ava, our daughter, 11, still asleep upstairs, innocent. I inhaled slowly. This wasn't panic. This was leverage. My wife was threatening me, inside my own kitchen. Go upstairs, I said calmly. Her eyes narrowed.
Why?
Because I'm calling an attorney, I said, and I'm doing it without you talking over me. She laughed, brittle. An attorney? For what? Your little PTA drama? For fraud, I said, and for protecting my kids. I called my friend Greg Sullivan, a retired state investigator I'd known from a vendor compliance case years ago. Greg didn't owe me favors. He owed me honesty. He answered groggy. Ethan, what's wrong? I told him in 10 sentences, facts first. When I finished, there was a long pause. Then Greg said quietly, You need a lawyer, and you need to separate yourself from that account immediately. She says my name's on it, I said. Then you document that you reported it, Greg said, early, voluntarily, before someone else reports you. My throat tightened. What about my kids? I asked. Protect them, he said, but don't protect her from consequences. At 8:10 a.m., the school principal called. Mr. Ross, we need you to come in today, immediately. I drove to Ridgewood with my folder printed, hands steady on the wheel even though my heart was galloping. The principal's office smelled like lemon cleaner and old paper. Across the desk sat Principal Darden, the school accountant, and a woman in a blazer who introduced herself as the school's legal counsel. They looked at me like I was both witness and threat. I handed them the documents. As they read, their faces shifted from confusion to alarm. This URL, the lawyer said, tapping the printout, is not affiliated with Ridgewood Academy. No, I said. The accountant looked pale. We have multiple families saying they paid through that portal, she whispered. We thought it was ours. The lawyer looked up. Who created it? I could have lied. I could have said I didn't know. But my wife had already chosen leverage. If I protected her, I would become her shield. And my kids would learn that shields lie. My wife, I said quietly. Jenna Ross. Silence. Principal Darden looked stunned.
Jenna volunteers here.
I know, I said. The lawyer's voice was crisp. We will need full cooperation, she said. Bank records, access to the site? I nodded. I'll provide what I can. I also need to state clearly, I did not authorize this, and I reported it as soon as I discovered it. She studied me, then nodded once. Noted. When I left, my phone buzzed. 37 missed calls, all from Jenna. By the time I got home, the number was 62. Jenna was waiting in the living room like she'd been holding her breath since I left. You told them, she hissed. Yes. You betrayed me. You stole from families, I said. You used our son's school as a cash machine. I was trying to keep us afloat. We were afloat, I said. You wanted more. Jenna's eyes flashed. You don't know what it's like, she said, voice shaking. To feel invisible. To watch you be the competent one while I'm the cupcake lady. I felt a sick twist of empathy because I understood the feeling. But empathy doesn't erase theft. I'm sorry you felt invisible, I said. But you don't fix that by committing fraud. Then she reached into her pocket and held up her phone. I can tell the parents you did it, she said. I can say you forced me. My chest tightened.
I watched her thumbs start moving and realized she was about to hit the parent group chat. A narrative, a preemptive strike. In my world, when a system is compromised, you cut access. I walked to the router cabinet and pulled the power cord. The Wi-Fi died. Jenna's screen froze. I just stopped you from making it worse, I said. Noah's voice came from the stairs. Mom? What's going on? Jenna's face snapped into a smile so fake it made my stomach hurt. Nothing, she said. Adult stuff. Noah looked at me. He saw my face. He grabbed his jacket. I'm going to school, he said stiffly, and left without looking at his mom. The door slammed. Jenna's smile collapsed. You did this, she whispered. No, I said.
You did. By evening, the first parent emails hit my inbox. Ethan, is it true the portal was fake? Then another. Then another. My phone buzzed with texts from numbers I hadn't saved but recognized. Soccer moms, band dads, parents I'd nodded at for years. Then a new wave, unknown numbers, people I'd never met. Because Ridgewood was the kind of school where one rumor became a community event. At 9:32 p.m., our home phone rang. We still had a home phone because I liked the solidity of it. I answered, and a woman's voice exploded through the line. Is your wife the one who stole our money? She shouted. I held the receiver away from my ear. Ma'am, I said calmly, I'm not discussing details. The school is handling it. You should pay us back, she screamed. I swallowed. I didn't take your money, I said, but I'm cooperating. She hung up. The phone rang again, and again. My call log filled like a sinking ship. Jenna watched from the doorway, face white. See? She whispered. They're going to destroy us. I looked at her. They're going to demand accountability, I said. That's different. Jenna's eyes filled with hate. You like this, she hissed. You like being the righteous one. I shook my head. I hate this, I said. But I hate lying more. The school sent an official email to all families the next morning. We have identified a fraudulent payment portal impersonating Ridgewood Academy. If you used an external site to pay the Family Support Fund, please contact the office immediately. The parent group chat exploded. Screenshots, anger, fear. Then Jenna posted. She posted first, before the school could name her, before I could speak privately to the families we actually knew. Her message was a masterpiece of manipulation. I'm devastated. I trusted someone who offered to help collect payments, and it turns out we were all scammed. My family is cooperating fully. Please pray for our kids. She made herself a victim, and she made me complicit with one word. We. I didn't respond publicly. I did what Greg told me. I documented. I saved screenshots of her post. I emailed the school's lawyer with a timeline, when I learned, what I saw, when I reported, and the fact that Jenna threatened to blame me. Then I called my own attorney. Her name was Denise Carter. Family law, financial misconduct, the kind of attorney who didn't care about who baked cupcakes. Ethan, she said after hearing my summary, you need 2 tracks, criminal exposure and family protection. I'm not trying to send my wife to jail, I said automatically. Denise's voice was firm. You're not sending her, she said. Her choices did. Your job is to protect yourself and your children. How? I asked. First, Denise said, separate finances today. Freeze joint accounts. Second, get ahead of the narrative on paper, not on Facebook. Third, document every threat. That afternoon, I went to the bank and did something that felt like ripping a limb off. I froze our joint account. That night, I thought the worst part would be the rage. I was wrong. The worst part was the paperwork that arrived like a judge's gavel. At 11:18 p.m., my credit monitoring app sent an alert. New account opened. Retail card. Limit $9,000. I stared at the screen. We didn't open new credit. I clicked details and felt my stomach drop. The application address matched our home. The email was Jenna's. The phone number was mine. And the signature line said, Ethan Ross. A forged signature, digital, clean, confident. I walked upstairs, slow, controlled, and stood in the doorway of our bedroom. Jenna sat on the edge of the bed, phone in hand, eyes red like she'd already been crying. "Did you open a credit card in my name?" I asked quietly. She froze. "What?" she whispered. I held up my phone. "New account. Tonight. $9,000 limit." Her mouth trembled. She began. "Answer," I said. Jenna's shoulders sagged. "I needed a bridge," she whispered. "Just until I could repay the fund." I wasn't going to keep it. A bridge built out of my identity, out of my future. I didn't yell. I didn't slam anything. I turned around, walked back downstairs, and called the issuer. Fraud department. Verification questions. A polite voice that hardened into procedure the moment I said, "I did not apply for this." When the representative told me they would close the account and flag the application, my hands started shaking. Not from fear of the bank, but from the realization that my wife had crossed a line she couldn't uncross. When I hung up, I looked at the call log on my phone. 95 missed calls. Parents, unknown numbers, a few from the school, one from Jenna's sister Trish. My house was the center of a storm I didn't create, and my wife was still trying to borrow her way out of consequences, this time using my name as collateral. That's when I understood. This wasn't school stuff. This was identity theft inside my marriage. Not emptied it, not punished her, froze it. Because money was now evidence. When I came home, Jenna's eyes widened when her card declined trying to order lunch. "You froze the account?" she snapped. "I protected it," I said. "You can't do that," she shouted. "I can," I said quietly. "Because it's also my account. And because your glitch became a crime." Jenna shoved a chair back. "You're trying to trap me," she screamed. "You trapped yourself," I said. She stormed upstairs, and a minute later I heard drawers slamming. I didn't follow her. I didn't argue. I walked to the office closet and pulled out a small safe I used for passports and deeds. I moved the kids' birth certificates, our mortgage documents, and my laptop backup drive into it. Not because I wanted to be dramatic, because I had learned that people under pressure will burn everything around them just to stay warm. That night after the kids were asleep, I heard Jenna on the phone in our bedroom. Her voice was low, frantic. "I need you," she whispered. "Trish, I need you to fix it. I need you to move it back. I need—" Trish, Jenna's sister. The one I'd never trusted but tolerated because families treat red flags like decorations. I waited until Jenna went to the bathroom. Then I did something I'm not proud of. I opened the family iPad on the kitchen counter and checked the email account Jenna used for school communications. There were messages. Not from Ridgewood, from Trish. Subject lines like, "Portal updates, payment flow, don't panic." And one message that made my stomach drop. "If Ethan asks, say it's a third-party processor. Don't mention me." I took screenshots. Then I closed the iPad and sat in the dark kitchen, feeling my marriage shift from betrayal to conspiracy. In the morning, I asked Jenna one question over coffee. "Did Trish build the portal?" I asked. Jenna's eyes went wide. Then she went on offense. "Don't drag my sister into this," she snapped. That was confirmation. I exhaled slowly. "Jenna, I have the emails," I said. Her face crumpled. And for the first time, the anger drained enough to show fear. "You don't understand," she whispered. "Trish said it was fine. She said it was temporary. She said we'd pay the school later." Temporary. Always temporary. "How much did Trish take?" I asked. Jenna shook her head, tears spilling. I don't know, she whispered. She said she'd help me move it around so I could repay before anyone noticed. Move it around. A nice phrase for washing money through accounts. So she didn't just build it, I said. She helped you hide it. Jenna sobbed. She was trying to help me, she cried. You make everything about rules. I stared at her and felt something settle, heavy and final. This wasn't a mistake. It was a system. A system built on secrecy and entitlement, and my kids were living inside it. Denise filed emergency motions. She told me to do something that felt cruel but necessary. Change the locks. I waited until Jenna took Ava to dance class. Then I changed them. When Jenna returned, her key didn't work. She stood on the porch and screamed my name so loudly our neighbor's dog barked. Ava stood beside her, clutching her dance bag, eyes wide. My heart cracked. I opened the door and stepped outside so Ava wouldn't see the war inside. Jenna, I said quietly, Ava can stay with you tonight. You're not locked out of your child. You're locked out of accounts and evidence. Jenna's face twisted. You're humiliating me. You humiliated us, I said. Now we stabilize. Ava tugged Jenna's sleeve. Mom, she whispered, why are you yelling at Dad? Jenna softened instantly. Because Dad's stressed, she said sweetly, like she was explaining rain. Go to the car, honey. Ava obeyed. Jenna leaned close and whispered, if you do this, I'll tell everyone you're abusive. My stomach dropped. I took my phone out and turned on the recorder. Repeat that, I said calmly. Jenna froze, then spat. You're insane, and walked away. The school contacted law enforcement within a week, not because they wanted drama, but because too many families had lost too much money. Investigators interviewed parents. Bank subpoenas started. Jenna received a notice to appear for questioning, and suddenly her "we were scammed" story collapsed under paperwork. Because fraud leaves patterns, and Jenna had fingerprints all over them. Trish's involvement surfaced too. Domain records, hosting payments, transfers. Trish texted Jenna non-stop. One message popped up on Jenna's phone when she left it on the counter. Don't let Ethan throw me under the bus. You promised. Promised. My wife had made promises to her sister that endangered our family. The night before Jenna's interview, she came into the living room where I was sitting with a folder like it was a shield. She looked smaller than usual. Older. Tired. I'm sorry, she said. I didn't answer immediately. Sorry is easy when consequences knock. What are you sorry for? I asked. Jenna swallowed. For everything. Be specific, I said gently. Her eyes filled. I'm sorry I used the school, she whispered. I'm sorry I lied. I'm sorry I tried to blame you. My throat tightened. And? I asked. She flinched. I'm sorry I let Trish in, she whispered. There it was. The real betrayal wasn't just money. It was choosing her sister's schemes over our marriage. What happens tomorrow? I asked. They're going to ask questions, she whispered. Trish said I should deny everything. She said it's my word against theirs. It's not, I said softly. It's transactions against your word. Jenna stared at me, fear naked. If I tell the truth, she whispered, Trish will hate me. I felt a bitter clarity. You're more afraid of your sister hating you than your children losing their home? I asked. Jenna's face crumpled. That was her answer. The next day, Jenna went to the station with her lawyer. I stayed home with Ava, who had a stomachache from stress. Noah refused to speak to his mom. When Jenna returned, her face was pale. They know, she whispered. About Trish? I asked. She nodded. They showed me the domain records, the transfers, everything. And what did you say? Jenna's eyes filled.
I told the truth,
she whispered. It didn't fix anything, but it stopped the bleeding. The fallout became public. The school held a meeting in the gym. Parents packed the bleachers, angry and afraid. Principal Darden stood at the microphone and explained the fraud. Then the lawyer explained restitution. Families shouted questions. Someone shouted, "Who did it?" Principal Darden didn't say Jenna's name, but the silence did. Because Ridgewood is the kind of community where secrets don't survive lunch. Jenna's friends stopped texting. Her identity, helpful mom, was gone. Ava came home crying one day. "Someone said Mom is a thief," she whispered. I held my daughter. "Your mom made a bad choice," I said. "But you are not her choices." Ava sniffed.
Is Mom going to jail?
I don't know, I said. Grown-ups are figuring it out. In the end, Jenna didn't go to prison. Not because it was small, but because she cooperated, confessed, and agreed to restitution. Probation, community service, a repayment plan that would follow her for years. Trish wasn't as lucky. Trish tried to deny involvement, tried to paint Jenna as the mastermind. But the paper trail tied her to the scheme. Trish took a plea deal that included a ban from handling any school-related finances and a restitution order bigger than she could ignore. And that was the final twist Jenna hadn't predicted. She lost her sister anyway. Trish blamed Jenna for snitching. Their relationship collapsed under consequences. Meanwhile, my marriage collapsed under something simpler. Trust. Money can be repaid. Trust can't. By summer, Denise finalized our separation agreement. Jenna moved into a small apartment across town. Noah chose to live with me full-time. Ava split time because kids still love their parents, even when parents fail. On the first weekend Ava stayed with Jenna, she called me at 9:30 p.m. "Dad," she whispered, "Mom is crying." I closed my eyes. "What do you want me to do?" I asked gently. "Can you just say goodnight to her?" Ava whispered. So I did. I called Jenna. When she answered, her voice was thick. "Ethan?" "Good night," I said. There was a pause. Then she whispered, "I ruined everything." "Yes," I said quietly, "but you're still their mom. So build something better from what's left." She cried softly. I stayed on the line 30 seconds longer than I wanted to. Not because I forgave her, because my daughter asked me to be kind. A month before school started again, Noah came into the kitchen and said, "Dad, Mrs. Keane asked if we're okay." I looked at my son and saw how much older he'd become in 1 year. "We're okay," I said. "We're just different." Noah nodded slowly. "I hate what Mom did," he said. "But I'm glad you told the truth." I exhaled. Me too. Because the truth was the only thing that stopped it from growing. The scam wasn't a stranger. It was family, wearing a volunteer badge. It was a fake portal and a QR code, and the assumption that no one would check because everyone wanted to believe the nice mom was nice. The lesson arrived through my son's casual question like a pebble that triggered an avalanche. "Dad, why haven't you paid the school fund all year?" If Noah hadn't said it, Jenna would have kept collecting. She would have kept moving it around. She would have kept promising herself she'd fix it later. Later doesn't fix fraud. Later just makes it bigger. Now, when mail lands on my kitchen counter, I still sort it into piles. Habits don't die easily. But I don't just look at the words anymore. I look at what's behind them. Because I learned the hard way that the people closest to you can build entire systems you don't see. And the only defense is the things scammers hate most, whether they're strangers or family. Receipts. End.